All right, Disney fans, welcome back to the Disneyland Hotel Diaries podcast.
Yeah.
Today we're doing a deep dive into a hotel that might not be on your radar,
Okay.
the Holiday Inn Suites Anaheim.
Ooh, interesting.
I know what you're thinking. A Holiday Inn for a Disneyland trip.
Yeah, it's not the first place that comes to mind.
But stick with us. This place is all about location, location, location.
You're so right. It's just a quick walk to the parks. It took me like 15 minutes to get over to downtown Disney.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's like, 5 minutes to the park gates. So yeah, no need to stress about shuttles or parking. You can just head out whenever you're ready for some magic.
Oh, yeah. I remember those walks, especially after a long day at the parks. It's so nice to just walk back to your room.
Absolutely. Now, about the hotel itself.
Yeah.
If you're picturing like a super modern, sleek hotel, this might not be the one for you.
Yeah, it's definitely more about practicality over fancy decor.
Right.
But sometimes that's all you need for a Disney trip.
Exactly. And they do have a decent amount of amenities, though. You've got a heated outdoor pool, a whirlpool, a fitness center. I mean, honestly, after a day of walking around Disneyland, a dip in the pool is like all you need.
Oh, for sure. And the whirlpool never hurts either for those tired muscles.
Speaking of hired muscles, let's talk food. They do have some on-site dining options, which is super convenient. And I got to give a shout out to the staff, especially Adira and Ophelia. They were so friendly and helpful.
Yes, a friendly face can make such a difference on vacation.
Oh, absolutely. So in terms of value, I'd say this hotel definitely hits the mark, especially for families who want to be close to the parks and not spend a fortune. And for those with teenagers, they've got this awesome pirate-themed suite.
Oh, yeah, that pirate suite looks cool. I haven't stayed in it myself, but the pictures online look amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun option for families looking for something a little different.
Okay, so we've talked about the good stuff, the location, the perks. Now for the reality check. What are some things folks might want to be prepared for?
Right. Well, let's address the elephant in the room. The hotel itself is a little dated.
Dated, huh? Like stuck in a time warp or just not super modern? I know, I was looking for USB ports forever.
It's more like a lack of modern touches, I think. If you're someone who's all about sleek design and the newest gadgets, you might be a little disappointed. Some guests even said the rooms felt kind of run down in places.
I get it. It's not going to win any design awards.
Right.
But honestly, you're mostly just there to sleep and shower.
True.
And you can't beat that walk to the parks.
You really can't. Plus, if you're spending most of your time at Disneyland anyway, how much time are you really in the room?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Anything else potential guests should keep in mind?
A few things, actually. Let's talk about breakfast. They have a buffet, but it's not included in the price of the room.
Oh, yeah.
And some people thought it was a little expensive for what they got.
Yeah, I remember that. If you're on a budget, it's probably a good idea to skip it.
Yeah.
And just grab something quick on your way to the park.
Totally. There are a ton of options right outside the hotel. And another thing to think about is parking. It's limited, and they charge extra.
Right. That's definitely something to keep in mind for your budget.
Yeah.
Especially if you're driving to the parks or other places in the area.
Exactly. And if you're a light sleeper, you might want to pack earplugs. Some guests mentioned that the walls and doors weren't that great at blocking sound.
The classic thin walls. I always bring earplugs just in case.
Good idea. Now we should talk about something a little more serious. Overbooking.
Okay, yeah, this is something potential guests should know about. What can you tell us about the overbooking situation?
Well, it seems like during busy times, like conventions or holidays, they've had some issues managing their bookings. One guest, Shannon L., shared a pretty bad experience. She booked her room way in advance, but when she got there late at night, they told her they were overbooked and didn't have a room for her.
Oh, no. That's like the worst case scenario, especially after a long day of travel. What happened to Shannon?
They first tried to give her a king room, but that didn't work for her group of 4 adults. And to make things worse, they told her they couldn't even accommodate them the next night.
Wow, that's really not okay. It's one thing to be overbooked, but not having a solution for guests with reservations is just not good.
Totally. They did eventually find her a room at a different hotel, but it was further from Disneyland, and she had to pay for the other nights herself.
So not only was it super inconvenient, it ended up costing her more money.
Exactly. And her experience really shows how important it is to confirm your reservation, and maybe even call the hotel a day or two before you get there to double check everything's good.
That's smart. It's always better to be safe than sorry when you're traveling.
For sure. So while the Holiday Inn Suites Anaheim has its good points, the location being the best one, it's important to have realistic expectations.
Yeah, it's not a luxury hotel, and there's a chance you might run into some issues. But if you're looking for a cheaper option that's close to the magic, and you're okay with a little bit of vintage charm, it could be a good choice.
It all comes down to what's important to you for your Disneyland trip.
Exactly. So listeners, what's the verdict? Is a Holiday Inn Suites Anaheim a yes or no for your next trip?
Well, I think it's safe to say that the Holiday Inn Suites Anaheim is kind of a mixed bag. It's got that awesome location. You can't beat that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it definitely comes with some trade-offs.
Yeah.
It's interesting how much those compromises matter to different people. If you're looking for like a really sleek, modern hotel experience with all the bells and whistles, this might not be the place for you.
Yeah.
But if you're someone who just wants to be close to the parks and doesn't really care about fancy decor or a ton of amenities, it could work.
Yeah, it's about knowing what you're looking for and setting those expectations, right? Like you said, if you're going to be at Disneyland all day anyway, the hotel is really just a place to crash.
Exactly. And for some families, especially those on a budget, that convenience is huge.
Yeah.
No waiting for shuttles or paying extra for transportation. You can just walk back whenever you need a break. Oh, yeah. Especially with little kids. That can make a big difference.
Totally. Kids are unpredictable. Sometimes you need to head back for a nap or a change of clothes. Having that option is a lifesaver.
For sure. So I think the bottom line is this. If you're looking for a budget-friendly, no-frills place to stay with a prime location, the Holiday Inn Suites Anaheim is worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely. Just keep in mind that it's not going to be the most luxurious or updated place.
And be prepared for some noise. Maybe pack some earplugs, a portable charger,
Oh, yeah.
and your patience, just in case.
Good advice. In the end, the best hotel really depends on what you need and what's important to you.
True. Well said. And hey, that's what we're here for, to give you all the info so you can plan the best Disneyland trip for you.
Exactly. So thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the Holiday Inn Suites Anaheim.
Yes, thank you all for listening.
We hope we've given you something to think about as you plan your next magical vacation.
Until next time, Disney fans, may your days be filled with pixie dust and your hotel stays be stress-free.